Ladies, bros, non-binary those, we are back in whatever the hell episode this is. I don't know anymore. Last I checked, it was 88. I was gonna do Back to the Future because, like, the end up Brown is like 88 miles an hour, like, but I never got around to that. So I don't know where we at, but yeah, turns out I was actually 10 episodes off, mind you. I actually like did some shit and I was like, episode 87, next is 88. Then I look back at all the episodes before this and I'm like, 74, 75, 70. Where's the rest? How do I go from 75 to 80? Oh, like, I forgot how to count to. God damn, I'm stupid. Speaking of stupid, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not I am not setting you up here. I'm setting up the topic. Don't look at me like that. I'm not setting you up here. I'm setting up the topic. We're going to talk about stupid shit. And in doing so, I need to introduce a smart person, okay? That's your cue to chime in.
I mean, I wouldn't call myself a smart person. I would just say a normal person, the average, really. Everybody else is below average. And that's what people need to understand.
Yeah. Good God.
These people of today lack emotional regulation, they lack resilience, they lack human connection, empathy, and just basic morals and values.
The brain isn't braining. Speaking of brain isn't braining, did you hear what happened to Kim Kardashian?
I don't keep up with people.
You don't keep
that
up
lack,
with the Kardashians?
Yeah, that lack emotional intelligence. So
Literally, mind you. Apparently, she went to see after she failed the bar. Because she's studying to become a lawyer, with help from ChatGPT, and she wonders how she failed. So after that fiasco, for some reason, she got a head scan, and it turned out that there's a part of her brain that isn't fully developed.
uh,
The
I
brain
didn't.
literally isn't
I didn't
braining.
think she needed a scan to tell her
People been
that.
saying that for years.
That's what I was saying.
Now we have proof. I'm not trying to be mean. It's just facts. The brain is not braining with that woman. And it's very unfortunate.
I mean, at the end of the day, I do respect Kim Kardashian. She has that spunk about her. She became famous. People don't become famous for nothing. They
I
have
mean, if
to.
you've seen that tape, you see she got famous for nothing. She didn't do shit in that
I
tape.
mean, who's brave enough to put themselves at one of their most vulnerable um,
That was,
positions?
that was some of the...
Out to the world,
What
say,
no
hey,
vulnerable
this is what I
positions?
look like. This is what I look like when I'm in the throes of pleasure. But otherwise, I do have respect for her. She has some spunk. She has some business know-how.
She has some
She
tears in
really
her.
made the best of a bad situation, which it was a bad situation for any woman of that time, to have yourself be put out there to create such a reputation for yourself. But she took it, she owned it, she said, you know what, this is what happened, this is what I did. And you know what? So what?
Because
I'm
she's
a-
iconic and she does iconic shit.
no man,
Her words, not mine.
it's the demonization of women and women's bodies. It's almost like taboo for a woman to like sex or to like to have many sexual partners or experience many different people because we accept it because men are men, but women are women too. Women are capable of everything a man can do, including growing beards, and people don't realize this. And women grow facial hair, women have libidos, women
Yeah.
get angry. Yes, I also grow facial hair.
It's just that
Most of
men
most
have
of
the
the
higher
women,
libido.
yeah, most women do remove these things because societal standards, but we very capable of everything.
Laser removal surgery in regards to facial hair wasn't made for men.
Yeah, but like look maxing,
That's
popularized
I
by
know what
men of
looks
these
maxing
days.
is. Yeah.
Women
With
have been
the
doing it for
fucking
centuries. Let me tell you.
yeah.
My skincare routine is like
The
20
mewing.
steps minimum. Okay, men like to praise themselves, say, "Oh, I do this, I do that." No, you are late to the game. Women have been doing this for centuries now. We've been experimenting with different methods, perfecting our techniques. You came in late now, but that's the point I'm trying to make. That women have been there And it's okay for a woman to want these things, to make mistakes. And also, she was pretty young when it happened. What do you expect from a 20-something-year-old who is surrounded by people of a very high, very different social class where normal rules don't apply to them? It was almost like, she saw her ticket, she took it, and she owned it. And, she made a pretty good name for herself along the way. So, kudos to
Yeah, I
her.
mean, who knows if that tape hadn't come out, she would have spent the next few years of her life being Paris Hilton's lackey.
Exactly.
I would say friend, but let's be real. They weren't that friendly.
I think they were kind of. I
As a,
mean,
well,
a
okay.
person has to have something about them to to work for somebody. You're like, hey, you got more to you than just cleaning closets. You want to hang out, So
About as much
there's
as Regina
there's
George and
some
her
kind of
friends.
connection there.
You have watched Mean Girls, right?
Who hasn't?
You do know who Regina is,
I
right?
do. She's
And you
iconic.
know who Amanda Seyfried's character is, right?
Hmm.
Now you know who Kim Kardashian was in that relationship.
I mean, Gretchen Wiener. I would say the forgotten one, but not forgotten for long. She made a name for herself.
Yeah, she
I
like,
respect that.
yeah. What was I gonna say? I'm gonna be honest with you. Have you seen the tape?
I haven't.
Well, you wouldn't know. What is this shit about? Oh, she, took her out of a bad situation. Have you seen? The only thing bad about that tape was the damn tape. That was some of the laziest fucking I have ever seen in my life. That woman barely moved.
Yeah, but like, man, people have been corrupted by the folk of this world. They have different standards of what a sexual experience is supposed to be. Sometimes it can be average. People are allowed to be average sometimes. They don't
This
have to
was
be
not
exceptional.
average. She laid there. I have seen sex dolls with more animation than her. I have seen AI move more than this woman. I have seen stop motion animation more active than Kim Kardashian.
Uh, what you gonna do?
No disrespect to Kim Kardashian. The woman does be doing some, let's say, business savvy things, and she wouldn't be having this huge empire if she wasn't smart. But for fuck's sakes, the thing that started all this was some dumb shit. We can agree on that.
I mean, true. Again, she was a stupid 20-something-year-old who hasn't done stupid things in their 20s.
Yes.
Um, Case made. But
You want to know how much of a non-character Kim Kardashian was before that tape? She showed up on a TV show. And you know when you show up on one of those entertainment TV shows, at the bottom of the screen, they put your name and what you do. When Kim Kardashian was on that show, it said Kim Kardashian, and right underneath, it said famous person. Didn't say model, didn't say designer, didn't say whatever, whatever. It just said famous person.
yeah, but also you have to give respect to somebody who literally she had no skills. She had like she had no real reputation. She didn't put a lot of work in. Her dad was famous. Yes, he did.
That's ironic.
He did, the hard work. But she still made a name for herself, and that just shows that you can really come from nothing, and just one choice, one situation, and how you choose to handle it can change your life for the better or for the worse.
Are you writing this woman's biopic or something? She came from nothing and she had one shot.
I mean, okay,
That's-
yes, okay. She didn't come from nothing per se. She had a successful family. Her dad, he was up there,
He was on the
in
Wheaties box.
terms of how famous lawyers can be. But
Are you
otherwise,
talking about Bruce or, oh, I'm sorry, Caitlyn or the other guy?
the other guy, Rob
Oh,
Kardashian,
yeah. She
didn't
had two
he?
famous daddies.
True. So yes, she did come from a place of privilege, but she still, she made a closet business for herself. She met the right people. So networking is everything. Um, a lot of success in life is brought on by luck, but it's up to you to put yourself in that position to gain that luck. Should it come by? And you know, I think she did that to the best of her ability.
So lucky she even used whatever Kardashian luck she had to give her own sisters in the spotlight too. Chloe, Courtney,
I
Kylie,
mean, the
whoever
only
the hell
person we have
else.
to thank for that is Chris, to be honest. You know,
Yes, the
momager
momager.
of the year. Honestly, most of us would benefit from a mom like Chris.
She's a nepo parent if you stop and think about it. She
And
got famous off her kids.
I mean, after like what, the average birth time being like what, 20 something hours of intense labor, I think it's the least those kids can do after all of that, you know?
There was this show about the OJ trial of People versus OJ Simpson, and there was a random Kim Kardashian has a cameo in that show. Not actual Kim Kardashian, but like, it's set around the time of that trial. There's a random moment in the show where Rob Kardashian goes to see Chris,
Yeah.
and she's like standing at the door, and the actress who plays Chris is talking to her and whatever, whatever. And then out of nowhere, she just turns her head and says, Kim, stop messing with your sister. And the camera like leans in so we can get a look at like the kids playing as the Kardashians to be like, hey, by the way, we just wanted to give you a shout out, remind you like Kim Kardashian, this is her dad, this is her mom, and the little kids in the back, that's Kim. Anyway, back to OJ. But yeah, Cuba Gooding Jr. did not look like OJ Simpson. He's too short and too small and just,
No, but
nah.
that sucks. I understand being robbed of like good genetics.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if your parent was like, you know, this good looking person and they were tall and they had good genes and they were praised for being, you know, good looking. And then they chose to marry somebody who was, you know, subpar. And you just there.
Subpar is kind of harsh. Let's just say um, there could have been more going on. Yeah, they could have had more going on. Let's just say that.
Already. Like if I was Kim Kardashian and my mom remarried, uh, you know, an Olympian who was on top of peak physique, and they made two kids who were like already taller, model-like compared to me, I'd be very upset. Thank you.
Well, like Stallone said, it's genetics, Pee Wee. What you gonna do?
Well, that's the point. That people come in different, you know.
Back on the clock. In the immortal words of Jean-Claude Van Damme, respect is important because without it, we're just people, common shitty people. Yeah, take those words to heart. But it's true though. There do be some strange people out here. We was talking about old Kim Kardashian and how the brain isn't braining up here, but it doesn't seem to be braining for a lot else. I mean, now that everything's been whittled down to 30-second sound bites, you feel like people are getting dumber as we get like shorter and shorter form content.
Oh no, man. The average attention span is like zero point 0.2 nanoseconds or something. I don't think there's any processing happening between those eyes that aren't in ones and zeros. No, I take that back. People aren't smart enough these days for binary code. But I don't know. There's just certain parts of the brain that are just not firing like how they used to. And
Neurons, yeah.
people just don't care about the impact on the world, on others. They see themselves and the way they connect with the world very vertically, like okay, things are happening to them rather than their decisions in correlation with other people's decisions affect everybody around them, the people those people know, the world, you know, depending on how powerful that person is.
Carbon footprint.
Yeah, but you know, regardless, like people need to. I don't know, man. Like the fact is, we exist on a floating rock in outer space. You know, there was a zero point something 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 chance that we'd even blink into existence, but we're here, and all we have each other is each other, and yet all we can do is kill and abuse and fight with each other instead of like appreciating the few years because we really don't know how long we have. with each other and just, enjoying this existence for what it is until we blink and turn into cosmic dust or whatever. I don't know.
Dust in the wind, and we're all just dust in the wind. Hell yeah. So, in the, aside from the depressing nature of us eventually becoming cosmic space dust in the endless vacuum cleaner, what else we got going on? Oh man, attention spans are shortening. People are getting, man, I would say, do you think TikTok should have gotten canceled?
100%. Not only did it start cancel culture, but it's overstimulating, to be honest. The constant immediate feedback that you get from TikTok, to having control over what videos you watch, to the length of those videos, what you want to watch, when you want to watch. People aren't supposed to have that much control over their lives, and that has affected so many facets of our health, of our mental health, like even with our friends, we expect them to be there constantly for us 24/7. Back in the day, people, you sent a person a missed call and you hoped you hope they were alive to get it. People could go months without seeing each other and then be the best of friends, hugging and kissing when they do. And we weren't supposed to have that much connection. Things were supposed to be genuine. People were supposed to yearn after their friends, yearn like, oh, I miss that person. I can't wait to see them. I know it's been a few months, but
Relationships could last years, and all people
exactly.
would do is be writing letters and shit.
And these days, people are ending 10-year long friendships over what? Not receiving a text back, being left on red. People are ghosting people because you were caught texting somebody else. Texting, mind you. E-cheating and e-dating. What the hell?
My hands smell like butter. I don't think it's cheating if, personally, this is a personal thing. I don't view it as like cheating if we're friends. First off, we're just friends. We ain't fucking, we ain't dating, we're just friends. There is no cheating in this. All right? So get that out of your head. That's a ridiculous idea to even have. Saying like your friend cheated on you. We're just friends. We're not friends with benefits. We ain't fuck buddies. We ain't, none of that. We're just friends. We don't even hold hands as friends. Like, you don't own a person that way. You can't own somebody. You can't have that control over somebody if you're not connected to them in that way.
Yeah, granted. Like, I
So,
don't know. And I think that this way of communication, always not even being like, you can't even hear people's voices anymore because people don't do phone calls. People do texting and emailing. It,
or voice notes.
yeah, we are living in an era where communication is it's nothing. It's like a part of everyday life. We can communicate with people uh, with a click of a button. That's like innovation that we never thought we'd ever achieve, and yet people are so disconnected from reality, from themselves, from other people. This is why depression is rife. This is why people are failing at life. They can't keep a job. They can't keep emotional and stable relationships, even friendships, and they just all depressed. We're all depressed, and I blame technology for it.
Honestly, depression has changed in recent years. It used to be like a V shape. I've seen the
Not
diagram.
to mention,
Yeah,
depression used to be aesthetic back in the day. Emo was a thing, and it used to be cool.
that wasn't depression.
Now
That
it's
was
like,
seeking attention
now
at
it's kind
best.
of like, ugh,
It's real
bed
now.
rotting. But I don't know, like, people are just, we're
Lazy.
regressing. We're regressing
Yeah, we're
in
getting
a
lazy.
in um
Yeah.
in a time where progress is so freely available. Success is so freely available to people with the right tools. People have resources now. They have people at their disposal, information. People are just regressing, walking backwards. We mentally, intellectually. And just talking to people in my same age group is like talking to the kids I teach almost.
I haven't spoken to people in my age group aside from my close friends, and it's like Thing is, with my close friends, it's like we already on the similar wavelength because we got similar backgrounds, you know. But like with other people, is there is that element of getting to know you first. But honestly, I would say one could argue that TikTok didn't have as much of a hand in cancel culture as much as Instagram and Twitter did, because TikTok is a new thing. Not new, but it's like it's new to the game in comparison to the other apps, but it has had a significantly bigger impact than those
A
other
hundred
apps.
percent. Again, because it gives you immediate feedback. Even Instagram has become almost like an old person app these days. It's more chill there, you know. There's less judgment.
The
People,
lies. There's judgments on Instagram.
I feel like it's more of a chill place, to be honest. Like I feel more
If you
comfortable.
hot,
Not necessarily. I feel like it's more creative friendly, like creatives or people who create, not just like social media creation, but artists, poets, writers, etc. It's a more comfortable space to share and to meet other like-minded people compared to TikTok. TikTok is more ruthless. It's more like
it's got a curated algorithm too. The
I
stuff you
mean,
watch is the stuff you
granted,
get.
but like the things that people watch these days, the things that are trending on TikTok compared to Instagram, they're levels away from each other. In sophistication, in maturity, in seriousness. And yes, TikTok is 100% political. Um, people can
Depending on
find
how you curate your algorithm.
people can find spaces with others who share their political views. They can get information about current events, things happening around the world, wars, human impact, etc., etc. It's great for those things. But cancel culture, number one, is it did have its function, it had its purpose, but I think it's gone too far. At the end of the day, yes, we are all human beings, we all make mistakes, but education first.
Honestly, I have this thing of with cancel culture. It's that
In the beginning, everybody was on board with it because in the beginning, people that were getting canceled were people that we could all look at and say, "Yeah, that creepy motherfucker's gotta go,
But
whoever he
now
is."
people who aren't even airing their business out, somebody else is airing it out, are getting canceled for what, being mean to somebody online, for relationship issues that they wish to keep private.
Not denouncing racism.
Exactly. Which, okay, yes, 100% racism is bad. We can all benefit from people being very openly, anti-racist, but
But is it cancelable to? Is it worth canceling someone because they
it
didn't
depends.
openly
It
denounce racism?
depends. It depends on the context of it. Yes, 100%. If somebody has a political page where they're posting about current events, things that are happening around our world, uh, you know, the social, you know, realm and what's going on, then yes, 100% hold that person accountable for not talking about racist issues and events that are currently happening. If somebody is talking about what cosplay, anime, uh, arts and crafts, celebrities,
I don't care what you have to say about
yeah, like
racism.
you're not
Like,
the one I'm going to for that kind of information. Yes, 100%. If you support that and you want to show your support towards a certain cause, maybe you want to be more personal with your audience, that's great for you. And it's sometimes refreshing to know, okay, yeah, this person that I follow for this shares these political views with me. But it's not necessary. You know what to Google to search
so
to
you
find
know
those
who
people.
Sydney Sweeney is, right?
Yes.
Do you feel Sydney Sweeney should be canceled for not being openly anti-racist?
I think I'm 50-50 on this because Sydney Sweeney, she takes on roles that have to do with a lot of political nuance, a lot of controversy, controversies happening in our society that's very relatable. Honorable mentions, Handmaid's Tale, Euphoria, who talks about a lot of social issues. Even her new movie, well, not new, but fairly new, Immaculate, has to do with religious trauma, the views of women in our society. on human rights, women's rights, etc., etc. And I feel as somebody who chooses to take on these roles and choosing to stray away for such conversations in interviews, it's kind of, yes, you are entitled to feel however you want to feel about things, to talk about what you want to talk about, but at the same time, like, choose your lane. It's either you're in it or you're not.
But is it a cancelable offense,
I don't
though,
think so, really. I feel like
that she
people are
didn't
bored.
pick a lane?
To be honest, people need to focus on other things. There's actually creators out there that they can support who talk about things that are actually happening in the world, about people dying. For example, what's happening.
And therein lies the rub, the selective outrage. The thing I have a big peeve about social media and everyone on it: selective outrage. We pick and choose who we get mad at for the shit they do. If someone we like is on some fuck shit, we'll slide back and we'll say, oh, well, moment of anger, or, oh, it was some shit they said way back when. We can't hold them to that now. But heaven forbid, it's someone we don't like, and we dig up some dirt from like 2009. We will hold you to that like you said it last week.
But that's just human, man. Some people are cringeworthy. Some people are just not very likable. Maybe they played a character in the past that you didn't like. Maybe they're just not a great person. They don't handle,
Some
you
people
know.
say they like it when kids touch them in their funny place. And those people still have jobs to this day.
I mean, true, granted. But yes, 100%. Keep those people accountable. They're not just people, they're criminals. They should be held,
Can you cancel someone over a
accountable.
joke?
It depends on what that joke is, because we need to understand that a lot of oppression that happened in the past started with an idea, a joke, and it didn't stay a joke. It became systematic, like in lawfully systematic. They created entire lawful systems to regulate the people they wanted oppressed, and that all started from one man and one idea. But 100%, education first. That joke, that idea can be changed, it can be reversed. That's why I think that instead of completely wiping people off, that's just like sweeping everything under the carpet, saying, hey, we did a good deed. Those people are always going to exist. It's about, hey,
Those people will
hi,
always exist. Anyway,
you're uncle basically, and I'm basically uncle.
I may as well be, man. You know what? I am. I'm not gonna say names because we're on recording now. But like, I am an unk. I am an actual unk now. I do have like a little one. But yeah, back to the thing. People are dumb. I'll say this much. I don't like people. My
Who
profession
does?
say otherwise, but I don't like people.
Professional hater. I respect it.
It's not even a thing. It's okay now. If you say you don't like specific people, you're a racist, you're a bigot, you're all these
But
kind
shouldn't
of
you
things.
hate them all equally?
But if you hate everyone equally, it's cool. Everyone's like, yeah, man, we feel you. Fuck them. But people suck because it's relatable. Everybody, as nice as you are, as understanding as you may want to be, has those moments where they just don't want to deal with people. Except Mr. Rogers, he was just saying,
Just helped you there.
thank you.
Mostly for my benefit because I had to look at it. But anyways,
Wow,
back to the point.
make me feel like a slob out here.
No, it's okay, man. It's okay.
Okay. But
Sometimes
yeah,
things need a womanly touch.
just I'm gonna let that slide because we're friends. All right, I'm gonna let that slide.
Anyway, back to the point. People
Back to the
are
point. People
dumb.
suck. Yes,
People are dumb. But it's humans.
people are dumb. They're loud. They panic. They are easy to fool when they panic because it's this thing of it's a lot of why the current administration in the U.S. stays in power is because they always got some kind of boogeyman for everybody to be
Want to know a
afraid
fun
of.
fact? That there are 5 species of creatures, obviously, on our planet that go through menopause. And of those five
This doesn't
species,
sound very fun.
only one of them is male led.
What is it?
Guess which one of those species is male led?
Us?
Yes. And that just shows the whole point of menopause is because there is a phase of a woman's life where she is valued for more than just her reproductive abilities. She is valued for her knowledge, her her experience, what she offers now as a experienced, older, wise person. And men, their reproduction laws so death, so that's their main function.
Not necessarily.
But
Some people tend to go a little soft
all I'm
once they hit
saying
60.
is when an angler male fish mates with a female, he fuses to her body, basically forming a living sperm sac, and he stays fused to her for the rest of his life until he shrivels up and falls off or whatever happens. And that's his life.
That's disturbing.
But the
And
point,
very
back to the
sadist.
point,
Yeah.
that that's just how it is, and that just shows that the fact that those other four species are female led just shows how powerful and how important the female role is, especially as a female animal or female human.
There's this book called
Reaches,
The Power, and it says, have you read it?
of course,
Now, in
got an
the,
A in it too. That paper was
yeah,
wild.
yeah, yeah. Wow, paper. Would you believe that if things were a matriarchal society, would they be drastically improved or would they be pretty much the same?
It depends on what woman wants. Do they want development or revenge?
And therein lies the rub.
You know what? I feel like, from my experience with many feminist organizations, that they do, on the whole, don't just benefit women, but they do benefit men, especially men who are hurt by other men. Uh, Male sexual victims, men who fight for custody rights, and unfortunately who do not win their cases.
Effeminate men.
Ex- exactly my point. So on the whole, I would say that most of the female rights movements are focused on development, developing and growing as a society based on equality, based on human rights. But there are those few bad apples. But I won't call them bad apples because it's wrong to objectify humans in that kind of way.
Let's say not quite right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that do take the vengeful path. But I don't blame them because people go through trauma. People handle their trauma in different ways. Yeah, I can be bitten by a snake today, and I could hate snakes for the rest of my life. If I see a snake, I'd go and kill it.
There's
And
also
people
that
wouldn't blame me
possibility.
for
Yeah.
it. That
Yeah.
that crazy fear of snakes now, because I was a big victim of one. So I don't blame women who were victimized, who were raped, who were murdered, or had somebody who, the
It'd
murdered
be pretty
can't
hard
talk,
to blame somebody who's
but who
murdered,
had
but okay.
somebody who was murdered by a man and now go on to hate or be cautious of men in the future.
That's
I don't blame
understandable.
them.
It's when you get into specifics that it starts becoming ununderstandable. Like a woman got mugged by an Asian dude and now has a resentment towards all Asian dudes.
Yeah,
Like now it's like,
that's just
okay, whoa.
generalization based
Yeah.
on a life of
Yeah.
racism.
Yeah, no, that's just racism. If you say you got mugged by a dude and now you're fearful of all dudes, okay, I can understand that. But if you say you got mugged by like a black dude and now you're afraid of all black dudes, it's like, okay, nah. No one can vibe with that. No one can even relate to that. It's preposterous. But yeah, as you can say, some of these organizations do generally do want to help everybody and flip things for the better. However, we do need to acknowledge that there are, in fact, some organizations who are tired of being stepped on by patriarchy and want to be the one doing the stepping.
Yeah. Um, well, hopefully there are more organizations out there trying to get rid of the foot on the neck altogether instead of just replacing the foot.
Yeah, hopefully they are. This may be a hot take. I know it's a hot take because whenever I bring it up, there's always people who have something to say. I think, in my own personal opinion, from what I've seen, that girl power is the worst thing to happen to feminism since men.
Like the phrase girl power or the connotations of it.
Everything about girl power. Girl power, in my personal opinion, from what I've seen and what I think, girl power is the worst thing to happen to
You know
feminism
what? I
since
agree with
men.
you to a certain extent, and that's because when they say girl power, they usually disregard fem- femininity, and they rather say let's move away from that because they see femininity as weak. But I don't think femininity is weak. It's almost like, as a woman, you have to be loud, you have to be out there, you have to be proud. And yes, that's great for a person to be, but that's more markers of a person's personality rather than markers of gender. And I feel, yes, women can be soft, they can be home focused, they can be focused on creating a family, being close to God, and they can still be independent, strong women, in my opinion. So I do agree with you at a certain point.
Now, where do you disagree? Before I say my side of the thing, where do you disagree?
I feel like it is kind of cringe to say girl power, to be honest. That is a cringe line to me in general. And I feel like there are so many powerful women out there that that line doesn't do justice to, especially with the actions, the things they've had to experience and endure to get where they are.
Like it brings them down.
Yeah, almost.
Like it
And
ain't right to call these women girls. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, so as with most things in life, not everything is black and white. There is a bit of gray in between. So it's always good to be part of the gray.
Yeah. Personally, on my side of things, as a man, I will say that I view girl power as a negative, not solely
Again, as a
because,
man,
yeah, I say that
as
I
a
always
non-neutral,
preface that shit.
as a non-uterus haver, yes.
I always preface it by saying that shit. As a dude, here's what I think. As me, girl power is a negative on the basis that it pushes individual success, over collective good. Whereas with feminism, it's all about the sisterhood and the women helping each other not overpower, but overcome the patriarchal systems trying to keep them down. Girl power is, in essence, inadvertently keeping those systems in place because it's about, from what I've seen, one individual success, individual excellence rising above by themselves. One person punches the glass ceiling and then closes it on the way up.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the society has always thrived on placing women against each other rather than, you know,
The exceptional few get to ascend and everyone else stays down.
perfect example is racism through the ages, man. Like, yes, white women, 100% victims of sexism. But we can't disregard the facts that they were also promoters of white nationalism, segregation.
Yeah,
Yes, they
they
fought for
also
women's
benefited
rights,
from
but
it.
not all women's rights.
It wasn't
Black
until
women,
like civil
women of
rights
color
movement,
were
yeah.
the last people, the bottom of the
Yeah.
barrel. And there were many barriers, including women, who stood in
Yeah.
front of that.
If you want and look at like history books and you start to like see the desegregation of schools and you see all the people that were like waiting outside for the black students to arrive, and
Those are white women,
yeah, there
white
were white
mothers.
women in those crowds, like spitting on them and saying all this horrible shit. There were white women in those crowds. It happens. It's
Such is
something.
the state of the world.
It's the state of the world. It's not just in terms of racism, but in terms of like the workplace. There is this idea of like, if there are women in the workplace, there's this feeling like that environment pits them against each other. Like who's gonna be the number one person in, even in like, let's say, entertainment, when it shift to like music. It can't just be a bunch of all these women are in the same space and they're all succeeding on their own. There's this idea of there has to be the number one. Who's the number one artist? Is it Cardi B? Is it Nicki Minaj? Who is it? Who's that number one person? And that idea that there even has to be a number one who's above everyone else kind of splits everything apart as opposed to invites them to all come together.
Well,
Yeah.
we also can't disregard just human ego.
Yeah.
That yeah, sometimes things can happen, or rather start off on a good tone. Women out there who want to prove, yes, that I can do it. I want to be an example for women that are going to come after me. And sometimes that message can get lost in the source
Yeah.
along the way, you know. Sometimes that ego gets to their heads. You know, they reach that glass ceiling and, as you said, close it up for everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate, but such is human nature.
Oh yeah.
And we also have to accept that, you know, some people, despite their brilliance, are not the best role models.
Oh yeah.
Don't meet your
Absolutely.
heroes, they say.
Most definitely. Especially if your hero is Doja Cat. If you're a fan of Doja Cat, I got news for you, pal. She is not a fan of you. She do not like her fans. Anyway, away from that, like, what's this? What was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? Fucking. So yeah, people do tend to like close the door on other people behind them as opposed to like pulling them up and shit. But yeah, it's it happens. You know, like people do hold other people down, and in
We
some
also
ways,
have
yeah.
to we also have to take into account internalized sexism that a lot of women have it. We want to seem like the exception to pander to male validation. Like, yeah, you know, I'm not like other women. I'm one of a kind. That's why you should pick me.
So you one of them? You one of them pygmies?
Exactly. There was this quote by Margaret Atwood. I'm a I'm a man in a woman's body looking out at women, or something like that along the lines. I can't really remember. But that's so true that the way we've been socialized, women do think like men, unfortunately. And that's an unfortunate part of it all, is that we take these beliefs on what we are, what we're supposed to be, what's our place in the society, and we project it not only on ourselves, on other people. We look through the male lens almost. And we need to just get to the root of that. That's the cause. It's not creating these big organizations, freeing the nipple and whatnot. The worst thing to
That
happen to women. You know, women are dying, but you
you
know,
think?
I
Oh,
want you to see my
the
nips, man.
you. What do you think about the free the nipple idea? Like, what? Where did
I
your thoughts
understand
on
where it
this?
comes from because there's a lot of societies that demonize women's bodies. As a person who does come from a more conservative background myself, I do understand it. But I also feel like on the agenda, there are more important things, you know, happening, you know, in terms of women. Women are getting raped daily, women are getting murdered. There's femicides literally all around the world occurring simultaneously. That's crazy, you know. Seeing your nipples isn't like, you know, I mean, I'm sure they're cute, but we don't need to see that. Keep it for
I mean,
keep it keep it for somebody special, you know.
I mean, if you can use your, how do I put this, given assets for political reasons to
I
promote a
mean,
cause and
true.
draw attention to the right things, then it is in your interest to do so. But you need to be cognizant of the fact that people aren't, well, not everyone's going to get your message the way you may want them to.
Unfortunately, I also think it's unfortunate that what it comes down to is, yes, there's a lot of people around the world telling women what to do with their bodies. Some are telling us to cover up. Some people are saying, that's too many damn locks, man. Take it off. I'm talking to the Muslim community. I feel sorry for you. But otherwise, as something to be shown off, something to be appreciated by others.
Something to
And
make money with.
it's equally as powerful to cover up and keep your body for somebody special and rather be known for your mind, your inner thoughts, your personality. And that's the beauty of diversity that exists in all groups, women, people, humans.
Men, women, and everything in between.
Yeah,
And nowadays, everything else beyond that.
it's true.
Because there do be some people beyond the T in the LGBT, but that's another thing. But then again, there are different ways people demonstrate the message they want to give, and it's there is no one way to protest or get a message across because different people get different people have their attention grabbed in different ways. So there's no one size fits all when it comes to getting a message across or spreading an ideology or making a valid point. So, you know, I'm for getting the message out any way you can as long as it doesn't like fuck with people or mess with things in a way. Like those people who be slathering paintings in like orange paint. I'm just like to like protest Big Oil. I'm just thinking, Big Oil don't give a fuck about this, right? You're aware of this. You're aware that slathering paint on like I don't know the fucking uh, I don't know stone carved by Michelangelo or some shit back in like the 1500s and slathering paint all over it isn't gonna hurt fucking Engine or BP. They don't give a fuck. They don't own that painting. Like, if you really wanted to, I'm not suggesting like violence on anybody. I'm not suggesting destruction of property. But if you really want to bother BP, go to BP. Like, go to them. Like, paint their offices orange. At
I
least,
think people
you
just get
know.
lost along the way. Some things are more performative these days than actually focused on the task at hand. And that's the problem in our society. People rather want to look good doing the good than actually doing the good. And again, human ego. People need to get over themselves. In my religion, we believe that there are five things you have to do to be in God's good graces, and one of them is charity. It's something that's your obligation as a human being. You have two shirts, give one to your fellow man, and I think that's an obligation for everybody. People often think that I hold myself to a moral high ground because I am involved in charitable organizations or events, but I think that's just the bare minimum. Nobody lives in isolation, and you don't have to go out there and talk about what you do. It should be the average that everybody does, and if you don't, you are below average, I have to say.
All right. So, heaven's sake, man. We've yo-yoed back and forth, feminism and people's bodies and like their lives and that kind of protest and all that. It's definitely many ways to speak, but like yeah, I think this may be as a dude. This is just as I have to preface this everything I say with as a man. Here's what I think. As a man, I say that one of the things standing in the way from women achieving what they seek to achieve in various fields aside from men, the biggest thing being men and the systems that we perpetrate, the biggest things being men, the thing right underneath that is other women. We've stated this previously, as girl power aside, we need to acknowledge that the thing keeping some women down, aside from dudes, is other women.
Well, yes, and that's because sexism, classism, racism, they don't exist in isolation.
Yeah,
One perpetuates the other. That's just how it goes. In a racist society where people of color are being oppressed, women are also being oppressed. People of different social classes, trickle down economics, those things exist. Capitalism is the child of racism, of sexism. That's unfortunately the state of the world. Even the bad things don't exist in isolation. And it's definitely
yeah,
it's definitely a topic of classism as well. That yes, there are women out there that are even greater than me who can be uh, great scientists, doctors, actors, writers, etc., etc. But the fact that they were born in a war-ridden country, they weren't even given the education. They're sitting now in a refugee camp, having no hope, not knowing if they're going to live today to see tomorrow. That's just unfortunately, the ugly side of life.
yeah,
And yes, women are a part of the problem. the rich elite women out there who believe in capitalism, who believe that yes, you have to work on this planet you want us to be born on. We were born here to eat fruit and I don't know, have sex and whatnot, and now we are forced to sit strapped to a chair for 24 something hours, even more in a week, 60 hours, working on a computer looking at numbers just to put bread on the table. That sucks. And there are women out there perpetuating this as well, all in the name of girl power.
Plenty of people who perpetuate a system that negatively impacts others if they benefit from it.
That's just how it is. It doesn't matter if it's harming the planet, harming other people. If it makes money, it stays.
Yeah, it's this may be an extreme example, but have you seen Django Unchained?
No.
Okay, this all makes sense. But there's a character in that movie played by Samuel L. Jackson, and it's definitely, yeah, it fits there. He's basically, back in the time of slavery, you had slaveries that were outside and slaveries that worked in the house. Well, he was a slave that worked in the house, and he was very, very chummy with the owner of the house. All the white people he was very chummy with, and he got along with them very, very well. And they treated him relatively nicely than they treated everyone else. They didn't treat him like he was white or anything like that. He was very much still black, but they treated him very nicely, and it allowed him to have like a level of like power over the other black people in the house and outside. Essentially, he could boss the other people in the house around. But there was very much every now and then that little reminder of like, hey, by the way, you're still black. I can still say whatever
That's
the
how
fuck
it
I
is.
want to.
People are
Yeah.
powerless, won't this opportunity to exert power over anybody else.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Like
that's why
yeah.
I sometimes feel sorry for people who are kind of bitchy, because I know, hey, things aren't good at home, hey.
Yeah.
I just know something bad is happening there, and that's the importance of being able to read between the lines. That usually hurt people hurt people.
It's this thing
That's the
of
cycle.
someone above you or someone who has more power than you is mistreating you, and you're taking it out on me because you have the power to do so.
And unfortunately, it takes a person, a person, an exceptional person, should we say, to break that cycle, to see, hey, this is where I'm leading to if I don't sort out my own trauma, get therapy, learn to control and regulate myself differently to the people who have come before me, the people who have abused me, who have placed me in this position. I need to do better for myself, for my future children.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate fact is, people who have been healed, who have gone through a journey of growth, usually don't want children at the end of that. It's always the wrong people deciding to be child free, I feel. Not that it's wrong, but rather the people who I think would do a great job at raising a child that decide they don't want children. So is that smart or
And some people just shouldn't have kids that do have kids. It does happen.
some people
Yeah.
go out there and find their victims, some people make them.
Oh yeah. It's You were right about the idea of that one exceptional person who like finally steps up and is like, you know what, enough. I'm done being a part of a system that actively seeks to make my life miserable, and I'm not gonna let you slide on you making my life miserable just because you benefit from it. You are also miserable. It's just but that person doesn't come every day.
Again, it's a topic that comes in there is, it's hard to be, as a person who has grown past these things, who have forgiven the people who have caused that pain, mostly for yourself rather than the people who have done the shits. But it's very hard to now like blame the people who have abused you for that abuse, because you realize it's just a cycle that has looked unbroken for so many years. It's a very layered situation. Your
Oh
parents were
yeah.
probably abused. They were probably brought up in that way. That's why they're doing the things they are to you. That's why they're choosing to parent you this way. Um, but that's That's just human life, human existence. That's just the way the world works, unfortunately. But you know what? With the pollution and climate change happening right now, maybe we only will exist that long for it to matter. We'll just blink out of here. It will be like nothing ever happened. Maybe that's the best case scenario when you think of it.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but for the longest time when I was younger, I when I was younger, I would always worry about like this. I found out about the sun exploding. They would be like, "Oh, in like, what was it 5 million years or something? The sun's gonna grow into a giant gaseous ball and blow up and wipe us all out." And I used to worry about that.
Like, is it gonna happen now?
Like I was so
During my time?
yeah, I used to be so concerned. Like, fuck, man, the sun's gonna blow up, man. We're all gonna be nothing but ash when the sun goes up. And I'm just thinking, wait. 5 million years. How old am I now? What's the average lifespan of a guy my age? I ain't gonna be around when that happens. No one who's around now is gonna be around when that happens. Shit, the grandchildren of the people who are around now won't be around when that happens. That is not something we need to worry about at this moment. Like, goddamn. Yeah.
Valid point, but I don't know. That's what humans do. We set the bars of our own prison sometimes. We dig that hole that we're stuck
Oh
in.
yeah, we do. That's our unfortunate side of things, you know. We tend to it's the downside of being the master and ruler of your own fate. You're also the creator of your own problems sometimes. It is what it is. It's sad, but damn, that's life. You know? But hot damn, you know, what can we do about it if we don't talk to each other? That's one thing we gotta do. It's just people need to sit. We're gonna do at one point when the situation becomes untenable and all of the options have been exhausted. We're just gonna wind up doing what we should have done from the start: sit down and talk it out, and then we'll finally make some progress. But maybe we'll do so in the nick of time. Hopefully so, but more likely than not, it'll be too late. And then what?
I think the most likely scenario is the too late one. Humans are notorious for being too late to realize things that matter,
Yeah.
from relationships to the world. Yes,
There was this
ranges.
there was this comedian by the name of John Cleese, and he said, "It is only at the precipice that we realize we must change," and that really stuck with me. It stuck with me deep. That was like one of the most profound things I'd ever heard at that point in my life. Like just only at the
But isn't that
precipice.
so human? We only understand the value of things when they're no longer there.
I don't think that was it. Like, I mean, I get it. That is something to take away from that, but I think it was trying to say like,
Or when
it,
it's too late.
yeah, when we're right on the edge, that we realize like, whoa, we need to stop. You know?
And sometimes I think it's too late. I think the point of turning back has long gone, to be honest. I feel like with these things, with these habits, it takes 21 days to break off a habit. But remember, this habit has been going on for millions of years of humans just being stupid.
Yeah.
And I feel like after so many millennia, it's too late now. It's gone.
I
The
mean,
wheel, the wheel is accelerating. It has reached light speed. What kind of force is going to stop that? Nothing. Nothing exists strong enough. One human being, a million human beings aren't strong enough. It's going to take all of us working as a collective to realize, hey,
personally, though I may be pessimistic in this view, I believe we had a chance to show us as a collective And that was during the C-19 thing, man, when the whole world shut down, when everybody was out going through the same trauma, regardless of race, creed, gender, economic circumstance, politics. Everyone was suffering the same problem.
And what did they do back then? They used things like race, gender to segregate us.
Yeah.
So
Everyone, we had a human crisis, not an American crisis or a crisis that was only happening in China, a human crisis, something that affected everybody. And this could have been it, a shining moment where we all came together, pulled resources, and showed what we could do as one big human race. And we just used it as further excuse to split ourselves apart. And that was the moment I knew we were cooked as a species. We had, when 9/11 happened, I watched video after video, article after article of people coming together, clearing away wreckage, helping the injured, tending to them, rebuilding, like just people like when they were covered in that ash and they all came out of the wreckage, they weren't black, they weren't white, they weren't rich,
they
poor,
were
Jewish, or
humans
anything.
lucky to be
They were
alive.
people lucky to be alive. They all looked the same when they were covered in that fucking ash. And deep down, they looked at each other like, fuck, we are all the same. We're fucking alive. And we need to like recognize that shit. Now that we were in a similar situation where that disease could have got anybody, and we were all looking at each other. We weren't looking at each other as people all stuck in the same situation. People were looking at each other like, it's that guy's fault. No, no, it's that guy. Or, oh, hey, just stay away from me, man. It's like, hey, like, can someone help me? No, I don't want to get involved. It's like, no one wanted to help anybody. Countries had to help each other or risk looking bad or something like
But
that.
that's the what it comes down to. That it's all performative. People show up
Optics. Yeah.
um, to look good, not to actually do good. People want to look good doing good, and that's the downfall of us. The human ego is crazy.
Yeah. It's a tragic thing. We could have united, we could have stood together, and we chose to stand apart. That's when my pessimism about humanity really
But
sunk in,
maybe
and I hate that.
pessimism isn't such a bad idea in this. If we accept the inevitable doom before it happens, maybe the blow won't be so harsh.
Yeah, it's just maybe like it's just I don't want to be pessimistic. Just like you don't want to be hateful, I don't want to be pessimistic, because in that scenario, it doesn't pay to be proven right. It sucks being
Doesn't.
right as a
It doesn't.
pessimist.
At the end of the day, whether you choose to be pessimistic or positive, it really makes no intrinsic change to the world, to the lives of other people. It does change your life though. It
Yeah.
makes it a bit more wholesome, a bit more, hey, I can do another day on this planet. I'm gonna wake up a bit more hopeful. I'm gonna choose coffee instead of death this morning. And that's why I don't think there's any harm in just choosing the greener side of the lawn. Basically, just wake up on the right side and choose to just do good, to believe in people. No matter if you have a peaceful sleep, that's all that matters.
The decision to see good when everyone else sees bad. It's just to look past the negative and see the positive that lies beneath. It's a thing we should do more of, honestly. But when someone tells you who they are, believe them. We definitely need to do more of that. Oh, this feels good. I'll say, just sitting here shooting the shit now and then.
We should do it more often. We should do this like once a month thing.
Absolutely. I